So I think you'll like the X-Men. I enjoyed it a lot. They focus a little bit more this time on the young X-Men.
We're not with Wolverine as much?
Wolverine, still a big deal, but we get to use the kids a little bit more.
Yeah.
The students. So like that Rogue, what's her name, Anna Paquin?
Yeah, all right, here's my Anna Paquin problem there. I get very nervous about a woman who's sexy, but I remember her as a child.
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather they didn't become affable before my eyes. I wish that I never saw them as kids.
Remember when she was so little getting her Oscar?
Right.
And she was in that little blue frock with the matching velvet hat.
And she was all like, oh, this means so much. And now you're supposed to go, hey, look at that ace. It's not...
I know. Now her big thing in this movie is, remember, she can't kiss guys.
Right.
She wants to make out so bad.
And I'm like, you shouldn't, honey.
She's the horniest of the mutants, and somehow her power is, I can't have sex.
All right, I'll give you another one that just happened, and it was very uncomfortable. From Who's the Boss, that little girl.
Oh, Alyssa Milano.
Alyssa Milano was like almost a baby when she started. And then the next thing you know, you're thinking, I might get Teen's Theme just for myself to watch that at home while she's doing exercises in leotards.
She was so little when that Tony Danza show came on. They actually had her being kind of the tomboy.
Right.
You know, they had her in the backwards baseball cap and overalls, and she liked to play baseball with the boys.
And now she's in R-rated movies. She's got her teeth out.
Now she's sex pot.
Why? You know, they should... maybe they have no kid actors on the off chance that they become affable in front of us.
I was watching last weekend. It was the true Hollywood story of Give Me a Break with Nell Carter.
Yeah. Oh, she became affable for you in front of your eyes?
No. Oh. No. But they had those 3 little girls on there. And they had the one, Samantha, I think the character's name was, and they really made sure, they had her talking baby talk.
Right.
So that they would have a cute little baby. And they talked about how they came back from the summer hiatus, and somebody had been blessed by the hormone fairy, and they had to start rewriting scripts because she came back. She had her figure. She all of a sudden was a young sexual woman out of nowhere. One summer did it.
I'm very uncomfortable with even this conversation.
It happens on TV shows.
I don't want her to be part of it. I'm as uncomfortable with those kids as you are like seeing a niece. Going, hey, don't go climbing on my lap anymore. Look at you.
I remember when the last Harry Potter movie came out, they had in the newspaper, they showed Harry Potter and Hermione from the first movie. Then they showed them at a promotion for the next movie. And they actually got Hermione with her chest sticking out. And the headline was, what a difference a year makes.
Awful.
It was horrible to point this out.
And we should not even be thinking of Hermione Heine. That's not our business. 866-277-4969. 866-277-4969. We're in the middle of this uncomfortable story of girls that became affable in front of our eyes. Roy's got to have one he wants to add.
Yeah, I used to love watching the Wonder Years. And that... Danica McKellar, who plays Winnie Cooper.
Oh, Winnie Cooper, yeah.
And she was such like a cute little girl. And I was growing up as that movie was as that TV show was on. And I just saw her and I was going through changes and she was going through changes.
And now you're making me uncomfortable with your changes.
You're so sick. No one wants to hear about your changes.
I don't want to hear when you grew a hair.
But towards the end of that show, she was so affable. I was just oh my gosh. And then just seeing her now, she's just still extremely hot.
That's funny because the little boy in that thing got actually disgusting.
Oh, yeah, Kevin Arnold. That big fat ass was walking down you'd see him walking down a sidewalk, and that giant can on that kid. Yeah. He's all hunched over like Harry Elvis.
What about his mug? He got a bad case of Ronnie Howard's brother. He started to look like Clint Howard the older he got. Remember
Eraserhead?
Yeah, Clint Howard he wasn't Eraserhead. He was...
Well, Ice Cream Man.
Yeah, but Clint Howard was the same way, where he was like the cute little kid, uncomfortable-looking older guy.
Yeah.
So Winnie Cooper is actually really a beautiful woman, and that's terrible.
Winnie Cooper, that first season, they put her in the nerd glasses. You see her on the sidewalk in the nerd glasses. Then all of a sudden she springs into adulthood.
Yeah.
The kid who's supposed to be the nerdy best friend He ditches the goggles.
And he's better looking than the lead.
And then there's Kevin Arnold just slumping along in that Jets jacket.
Playing Harry Elvis.
I saw her like a couple of years ago on Kevin Arnold's TV show that he had.
All right, he's Fred Savage.
It was called Working, and she came on there as like the biggest slut, and it was just, oh my God.
I saw it. She played a slut.
Yeah, she played the boss's daughter, who was such a slut. She was wearing this like little jean mini skirt and like this like little halter top.
Rory was so excited he grew another hair.
And she was actually climbing on him.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and they were doing like, don't I know you from somewhere? I'm like, this is very uncomfortable.
They should have done that episode on Wonder Years.
I felt so awful I barely had time to run a batch. Here's Frank. You're on Run and Fez.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, how's it going, guys? How about Melissa Gilbert?
Melissa
from Little House on the
from
Prairie.
Little House with the little tiny girl, and now she was at the Academy Awards with each teeth out.
Yeah, just hanging out of her gown.
Exactly. Couldn't believe it. It's like, less than a year after that show ends, everybody's going like, my God, what happened to her?
Exactly. And, you don't want to start a kid farm. You don't want to start thinking, I had to start a little girl farm here. And then I'm like a Frenchman. Thank heaven for little girls.
866-277-4969 is the toll-free phone number.
I don't want to be the next Maurice Chauvet or whatever the hell his name is.
That's it.
All right, wait a minute. Roy's going to correct me. Go ahead, Roy.
I think it was Maurice Chavez.
Chavez. Yes, he's Spanish. It's always nice to have a producer there for you.
You've talked too much tonight.
It's Cesar Chavez. Here's Al, you're on Run and Fez.
Yeah, I got one. How about Valerie Bertinelli?
Valerie Bertinelli, of course, later become Mrs. Eddie.
Rock star wife.
Yeah.
But I think the show was One Day at a Time.
Right, One Day at a Time. When you watch the rerun, she was a very little girl in there.
That's right. Very young, and it was the other girl, the drug addict, who was, supposed to be the one having the dates and everything.
Right, the Phillips daughter that didn't get the look.
Mackenzie Phillips.
That's right.
All right, see ya. Valerie Bertinelli, yeah, she kind of did grow up in front of America's eyes. And those reruns are still on, and she started when she was like 8.
Yeah, she's very, very young when you see her.
866-277-4969. Here's Grant. Grant, you're on Run and Fez.
Hey, Grant.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
We're happening.
The girl from Punky Brewster, Soleil Moon Frye, I think.
All right, she's
unbelievable right now.
They literally had to go back and stop her growth because on that show she went into D cups in no time at all.
Unbelievable. Overnight, she said they actually had to tape them down while they were taping Punky Brewster.
There's not enough tape. She suddenly had 2 globes for breasts.
In real life, she had a reduction,
right.
too, I think.
She said her nips were the size of pie plates. I go, this is more than I want to know. This is way too much.
She actually did a Wonder Years episode where she's in a rowboat with Kevin Arnold. And, trust me, flotation devices. She's about knocking him out of the back of the rowboat with these things.
I do remember that.
And the tight sweater.
And wasn't that her angle in the story, too, right? Was the girl with the big keys.
Yeah. And Kevin got the meter.
866-277-4969. Here's Kevin. You're on Ron and Fez.
Oh, hey, guys. The girl from Small Wonder grew up to be a very affable iron giant.
The little robot.
The little rowboat. All right, thanks a lot. That's really uncomfortable. Carl, you're on Ron and Fez.
Well, I think Kim Fields on Facts of Life, oh man, doable 3 times over. And my sister actually worked with her as a makeup artist, but I just could never get close to it all.
All right, here's the problem there too, Carl. All right, and then she became a beautiful woman, but she's still Tootie. No matter which way you look at that, it's still the little girl in the roller skates, and you're gonna feel really guilty, I think, on some level, or maybe in Carl's point, a little turned on.
All those girls got so stacked on that show. It was unbelievable.
But do you think anybody came close to Tootie in looks by the time that thing was over?
Oh, no, not whatsoever.
Maybe not, but, I guess I would have to feel guilty later, but the pleasure would be well worth it, Joe.
Oh, yeah, sure. All right, thanks.
I'm sure fans would agree with me, wouldn't you, fans?
Fezzy, what do you think, Tootie?
Tootie? I'll tell you what, yeah, Tootie.
I'd have to get some Tootie booty for myself.
Toot on the Tootie.
And you know what I would say? Keep the skates on, honey. Keep the skates on. I'd make her skate backwards.
She was the original roller girl.
Yeah, right, exactly. She was...
Tootie, fruity, fresh and booty, huh?
All right, that's enough, Carl. Now you're getting dirty. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
See you later.
I used to love watching The Facts of Life. In fact, me and my little brother Travis would actually sing our own theme song to it. You take the black, you take the white, you take the fat, you take the dyke, and what do you got? The facts of life. There's a tough lesbo named Joe who show when tendencies she knows about the facts of life. The facts of life, where the plates are always clean. As the girls bust out their seams, you find out the facts of life. The facts of life are all about food. Food. I hope the retard comics on tonight when I'm watching the facts of life. Watching the facts of life.
I'm so uncomfortable right now.
Why?
I just don't...
That's something from my childhood.
But the fact that you belted out now, at this age, makes me very, very uncomfortable. Here is... Here's Josh. Josh, you're on Manifest.
Hey, Josh.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, buddy.
I got an actress for you. How about Natalie Portman? She was, what, like 10 years old when she made The Professional? And
I know.
now she's like, oh.
Here's the problem. I know. And she is unbelievably beautiful. And as a matter of fact, did you ever watch The Osbournes where she was on it?
No, I don't remember that episode.
The Osbourne kid, what's his name, Jack?
Yeah.
Wanted to hook up with her. And he was, and we saw her at some, like, opening or MTV Awards, and she's walking across the room, and they slowed it down and, like, played, like, sexy music, and she is such a gorgeous kid. But when she did The Professional, people were being inappropriate there, and she was, like, 10. And then she did Beautiful Girls, and she was, like, 12 or 13, and the whole point was that an older guy in his late 20s dug her.
Yeah, that he had the big crush on her and couldn't quit watching her.
So they've always pushed the envelope with that. Very, very uncomfortable. Thank you very much, Josh. But really, Natalie Portman might be one of the most beautiful women in the country now.
I just have trouble with her action scenes in Star Wars. She runs like a frickin' retard.
Well, I mean, she shouldn't be in Star Wars, no doubt about it. But she is very, very attractive.
And watch the scene where she's shooting the laser gun. She actually pushes it forward like she's saying, pow, pow.
You know, but also, Fez, there's no director on this.
Right.
I mean, if you really start to say, who was a good actor in the history of Star Wars, it was only people who were good in other roles.
The Wookiee.
I mean,
be about it.
No, Han Solo, of course, you could tell he could act. Alec Guinness, of course, is an actor. But 90% of the people, this guy cannot direct a film. He can direct computer graphics, sure. He's great at that. But he does a terrible job with the films. Hey, Fez, does anybody remember Jafta?
I do.
Jafta, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, guys, how you doing? Maureen McCormick, Marsha Brady. We all grew up with her.
Just gorgeous.
Oh, man. We started out with braces and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden went to high
She's
school.
still great looking.
And she's like in her late 40s, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And just beautiful. I saw her, I forget what she was hosting, some show or something not too long ago.
Probably something on VH1 or MTV or something.
I think you're right.
She's on the Amanda show on Nick at Night. She plays the mother. They do like a spoof of Dawson's Creek. They do Moody's Point, and she's always the mother that's
It's
stuck.
supposed to be a comedy?
Yeah, and she's stuck like in the balloon. She's like stuck in the balloon that she can never come down on.
What kind of TV do you watch? What the hell are you watching?
I like watching the little kids.
I mean, yeah, but here's the thing. This is why I don't get high. Because I'd be sitting next to you watching these stupid programs.
Brady's stuck in a balloon, man.
Every night he goes home and smokes half a joint. And he thinks it does no harm. But look what he's doing.
The sad part is he smokes the first half before he comes in here.
No,
What?
say no?
What?
No, I don't.
I'm getting waved off,
You know
Ronnie.
why? Cameron's listening.
Oh.
Cameron's listening. All right, thanks, Jeff.
Hey, remind everybody, new listeners, www.ronfez.net.
Okay, thank you very
Bye,
much,
man.
Jafter.
Thanks, Jafter.
Yeah, ronfez.net. That's where all the locals hang out. Here is Nick. Nick, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, you know this girl from E.T., and then she reappeared later in Guess Ad, Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore is almost through the affable age, where you're so used to her now, you're like, oh, yeah, she's getting a little old. And you literally remembered her when she was a toddler.
Yeah, we as a nation raised Drew Barrymore. How good a job we did, I don't know.
Tom Green ruined her.
What's
Yeah,
that?
you can't look at her now.
I don't even think Tom Green slept with her.
No.
I think that was a publicity stunt for a gay boy. That's all. There's no way I
He
see
should
him.
have left the other Nad there.
There's no way I see him as straight.
Tom Green, that marriage was done before it started. I mean, they basically got back from the honeymoon and said we're getting divorced.
Hey, Kathy, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, Kathy.
Hey, hi. Hey, listen, I just want to say, at least you guys are lucky. Look at the guys. Look at, like, Jerry Mathers and Dennis the Menace, the way they look. Ron Howard's bald. I mean, Jerry Mathers weighs about 2 tons right now. The guy who was on, Saved by the Bell, and he's now on the Cop Show. And, I mean, he's ugly. At least the girls grow up to be pretty. The guys grow up to be ugly.
You know what I think the reason is? I think that they pick little boy actors with, like, a lot of character. Like, turn on, Bonnie has a show right now.
Yeah.
And she has, like, a little red-faced, freckled face.
Oh, he looks like a new Mason Reese.
Yeah, and you're going, oh, he's adorable. But let him get a little older, and you're going to scream, get the torches and hunt him down. He's hideous.
You'll run from him in the future.
Yeah, well, what about the Partridge Family, Danny Bonaducci?
Yes.
He was god ugly when he was young.
But it's considered cute. It's a lot of character.
A lot of freckles, a lot of red hair. That's cute when it's on a little kid.
See, I don't know if the young boy actors become attractive.
No, they don't.
I think Clooney got much better looking as the years went along from Facts of Life when he was on that.
Am I at a gay lunch? What don't I understand about Rory running in, telling us that George Clooney is better looking?
Haven't I told you you've talked too much tonight?
What are you talking about? His package? What are you doing, Rory?
No, I just think that he was like, really, he was an unattractive guy on the Facts of Life, and then he got on the ER and he became a big sex symbol. And
am I going to be the only straight guy on the show? Is that the new thing for me? Am I going to go from straight man to straight guy?
And George Clooney wasn't a little kid on Facts of Life.
He was 30.
No, he was a man.
He was George the Handyman.
He was like a teenager.
No, he was
definitely in
not.
his 20s.
At least.
He looked like he was young, though.
What did you think of him as Booker on Roseanne?
Thank you, Kathy.
What a weirdo. And don't give up hope on that Jack Osborne. That is a beautiful swan in the making.
Oh, let's wait till he gets out of rehab.
See what they do for him.
We'll take a break here. 866-277-4969. Some stuff to give away tonight, Fezzy.
That's right. We do have plenty of stuff in the big ass prize closet. We have HF Festival tickets. Winner receives a pair of tickets to see HF Festival. It's going to feature Audio Slave, Good Charlotte, Godsmack, plus many other great bands. All happening Saturday, May 24th at RFK Stadium. Tickets available at all Ticketmaster locations, phone charge, and at Ticketmaster.com.
Mikey, we're going to play your nutty game show again tonight?
We're going to do the Bumper Music Challenge. Mikey D's Bumper Music Challenge.
He wanted to call it Ron and Fez. I go, no.
I know.
A child star who? Growing up was hard on him, Mikey D.
I got news for you. I will run this past camera next week. And we will see if you're still the golden boy.
Okay. I think I will be.
All right, we'll come back and we'll explain Bumper Music Challenge. Also, we'll play some other game shows tonight, Fezzy. 866-277-4969. Plenty of chances to win on the Ron and Fez show. Hey, Ralph, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, Ralph, what do you got, buddy?
Hey, Nicole Eggert from Charles in Charge.
Oh, wow.
She exploded on us, literally.
There is a movie that she did with the two Coreys that she is naked in 65% of the movie, and she's with these two gay guys, both the Coreys, and she is so effing hot, and it's terrible that she was in Charles in Charge.
She was blown away.
What's that?
Blown away is what it's called.
Why are you talking to me like that? Like me and you are cuddled up in bed together. Stop it.
Why are you trying to whisper in Ronnie's ear? He thinks he's one of the Coreys. He's Corey Hamptons.
Yeah, it was called Blown Away. Awful movie, but she's constantly naked and constantly with one of the Coreys.
And you wonder when Chachi's going to show up to put a stop to all of it.
You know what? Look it up on the IMDb. I want to know what age that she even was when she did that movie. She might have been underage in that movie or just right on the edge. Because you got to be 18 to be naked in the movie, right?
I would think so. Yeah. They can't just film you naked if you're not a legal adult.
All right, that movie came out and when? When's Blown Away here?
Blown Away with the two
Oh,
Corys.
92.
She was 20 years old?
Yeah, so she... What is this again? With that quietness. Talk like Rory and not sexy
Would you
Rory.
talk like it? All right. Get hit with something again.
She was 20 years old.
Yeah, she's 20. All right, so she didn't even look it. But she was playing like a high school kid. And what is... do you have to be 18 to be naked in the movie, Mikey? I know you're in a lot of films.
You have to have parental consent.
Yeah, but I suppose some pet father is going to say, all right, here's my parental consent. Go ahead, take my daughter.
Right, and next thing you know, she's doing low-grade porn.
Why can't it be high-grade?
Well, I know one of the friends. He was a guy. He got naked in a movie, and he was under 18, and his mother said it was okay, and they went.
You know what? That's a good point. Remember in Powder, they got in trouble because the director turned out to be a pet, or the writer, or the producer, or something.
Yeah.
And they had shower scenes in that. I think with boys, they don't care as much. And wait, I just thought of something. Brooke Shields was naked when she was little.
Pretty Baby.
And Pretty Baby, and something that she did where she was running down the street naked.
I think something with gypsies.
Yeah, she was in a gypsy movie. She did a lot of movies where she was naked as a kid. Oh, she was with George Burns in this. She was naked in the trunk of his car. And I bet she wasn't like 10.
So how do they... So Brooke Shields' mother can just sign something?
Yeah, it can't go that far. But, I mean, you can show nudity if the parents give parental consent.
But how do you know that the parents are decent?
Well...
Yeah, that they're okay to do this.
Some trailer park, that sure.
Well, they're liable.
What are pictures on the internet? Well, apparently not liable if you could just sign it away. What the hell's the difference?
It sounds like they're signing away their liability.
Here is Pat. Pat, you're around a Fez.
Hey, Pat.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, in American Beauty, Thora Birch, she was at that topless scene. She was only 17, man.
No, was that her naked, though, or somebody else?
I think so. They had it real close up on her face and everything.
Well, I think in that movie there was actual talk about, was that a body double? Because she's looking out the window and her head is above one little piece of the frame of the window and her body, her chest is below it.
Oh, man,
yeah, but people are saying that it was her.
It looks good, though. I don't know.
All right, but don't, see, the whole point.
That's all I know. It looks good.
This is supposed to be an artistic movie and her parents signed for it. And you're sitting there and you're spraying down your TV screen.
It was called Pretty Baby, and she was 13, Brooke Shields.
Oh, again, now we're back there, but now we're talking about Thora Birch at 17. I know when you left the room, that was the discussion.
We decided to keep talking while you left instead of letting there be dead air.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Time doesn't stop when you stop seeing us.
And you get hit again.
I don't understand why Fez is the nice one when he sits there and chucks pens at people. I never physically hurt any of you guys, and yet you all act like, oh, Fez is the good one. He bought me a meatball. I'm sick of it. When did this start between you two? When you chuck things at him?
It started tonight. And I got a nice cup of pens here, and he's going to get hit every time something stupid comes out of his mouth.
Then he's going to be pen boy from that point on. That's his nature. It was like, I'm trying to explain nature to everybody today. I tried to explain to Wonder Boy about it, his bad relationship he's in. I go, you're not going to change this girl. She is what she is.
Yeah, I mean, how many times does he have to go through this with her?
80.
Before Dummy over there wises up.
Here's Gladys. Gladys, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Gladys.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, I just want to let you guys know that I believe it was the movie is called Just You and Me, Kid, the one with him.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Gladys.
You're welcome.
All right, bye. Who's got the best callers?
We do.
Who throws too many pens?
Me.
All right, by the way, Roy, stop letting that ricochet off you.
Okay.
Because I'm going to come up swinging if I get hit with a ricocheted pen.
I'll just try grabbing it in the air.
Oh, good luck, Neo.
When finally you can grab that pen, you can leave here.
Let's see if you can.
Not even close.
No. Not one bit.
Some kind of a strange S&M homoerotic, but that I'm not even getting. that I don't even understand. A man throwing a pen at another man. I'm uncomfortable with it. Throw them at the other guys, too.
Oh, I will. No one else has said anything stupid tonight.
Because we haven't had him in. When he called Wonder Boy in 2 seconds and have a pen in his eye.
I'll throw a typewriter at him.
All right, Wonder Boy's out front with us going like this. Thinking about his love life going, what's wrong with me? And I swear. And look, Mikey's going, and I go, you're a chick. It's fine.
Did you actually say, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, probably. I'm sure I said, what's wrong with me?
Get the pen.
Amongst a lot of other things. There was a little bit of lamenting and wailing.
All right. Where do we start? The blue hair or the bad breath?
No, I don't know.
If you really want to know, we can get into it.
Is your girl out with another guy tonight?
Yeah, I would probably say that.
So that makes it a really depressing night for you?
Yeah, well, I can handle that if I just try not to think about it, but sitting and talking about it for about a half hour before work makes it a little bit harder to pretend. Yeah.
What do you think they're doing right now? Has he picked her up yet?
Actually, I didn't really check the itinerary. I would assume probably, but I don't really know for sure.
What bothers you most about it? The sex?
No, not that.
Why not?
Well, I mean, I know they're out somewhere in public. I mean, they're not having sex in a public venue. They're not. I'm sorry, you're not going to convince me they are.
Are you sure?
Yes, 100%.
She's got a wild side to her.
No, I understand all the sides. I'm saying they're not banging.
I know all the sides.
Yeah, they're not banging at a concert. It's just not how it's going to be.
Yeah, but then he's going to take her home.
No, there's a possibility that that's going to happen.
He's going to drive her home, as they say.
Will they go back to his home or her home? Or is that the same home?
I don't think they're living together yet.
Do you ever ask her who's better?
Yeah, actually, I have to.
What'd she say?
Not him.
Then why isn't she with you? Why are you still number 2 son?
I don't understand. I can't say I haven't asked that question, too, over and over again. But
do you actually say to her, what's wrong with me?
No, I'm not that pathetic yet. I'm sure it's imminent, but I haven't actually brought that one out yet.
Does this feel like heartbreak for you?
Yeah, every day. No, not every day. Some days when I'm seeing her, everything's fine. I'm like, however much longer it takes to sort this out, it'll be fine. And then days like today, awful. Heartbreak.
How old are you?
27.
Let me ask you a true thing, and I don't want you to get offended.
Right.
You think you're a man?
No. I know unequivocally nowhere near it. A man would not tolerate this. A man wouldn't go through this kind of thing.
All right, off just this one thing.
Also, no. In general, no.
What's keeping you from manhood at age 27?
I really don't know, and that actually bothers me. I do think about that, and I don't know why it is. I don't feel like completely grown up. I'm too immature, and I have a lot of stuff, and I don't know why I haven't been able to get past that.
You think it's the blue hair and black fingernail polish?
No, I don't think it's that stuff. I think that it's if you want to say that stuff is symptomatic of it, maybe, but no, I don't think that it's a thing where I won't let go of blue hair, and that's why I'm not an adult. You know what I mean? I think you could be an adult and still have all those silly kind of looks, but no, there's something inside that is not grown up and doesn't accept responsibility well.
What do you think's keeping you away? You have no idea?
I don't know, and I really wish I did know. I mean,
do you know what it would take to make you feel grown up?
No, and that's really the problem. I really feel like I don't know, and that's part of why I think I'm not grown up. I don't know what grown up really is, and it's been like this for a while, and it was a thing where I thought, all right, as you get older, it's going to just kind of happen on its own. But I don't think it does. I think it takes some kind of an event.
Have you ever felt grown up?
In like spurts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look what I can do.
No, not that.
Look what my thing does.
No, there's been like phases of my life where people were...
He's a big boy.
Well, grown up? No. No, I mean, there's been segments of my life where I felt, I'm grown up, but on the whole...
What do you need to do? Maybe you need, like a vision quest.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Just do something crazy.
I know a lot of it is that...
Hop trains across the country like a hobo.
I just feel like that is reckless more than being, showing that I'm accepting responsibility.
I know, but maybe you haven't gone through that first.
No.
Maybe you need to slay a dragon.
I know I've been sheltered my whole life, for real. There's no doubt about that. I think that's a lot to do with it. Well, my parents, my family, people around me.
They don't even like you.
I'm not saying they like me, but they won't let me suffer necessarily, though. You know what I mean? No one's ever just thrown me to the wolves and said, you're on your own, hope for the best.
Now, you have a little brother.
Yes.
How old is he?
He's 25.
And he's a lieutenant?
Yeah, second lieutenant in the Marines.
Actually went over to Iraq.
Yes.
To the Middle East. You consider him grown up?
I don't...
I mean, he seems really grown up, and I never even met him.
You would think he would have to be. I don't know. I never thought about him relative to me. I still see him as the same way I saw him when him and I were younger. So I don't really look at him grown up. I look at him as the same kind of relationship I had with him when I first developed a relationship. But he probably is, though.
Now, Fez, did you see this piece in the paper about what age are people grown up?
Oh, yeah, this was the poll they took, the research they did out of the University of Chicago.
Yeah.
And it was talking about what age, the people polled, what age do they think someone is actually grown up at? Now, what age for you do you think? I mean,
are people grown up?
I mean, just in general, not just about you. Here you are at 27 and saying you're not a man yet.
Right. I think that it's probably early 20s now. I know it used to be younger, I think, but I think as people, like, the more time goes on, I think people are kids for longer. But I think for the most people are established within their early 20s, like 21, 22 at the latest.
So you feel you're way behind the curve?
Way behind the curve. And I don't know what to rectify.
Let me check with Roy. Roy, what do you think?
For myself or for the whole?
Both. Do you feel like a man now at your age?
I do feel like a man, yeah. I do. I think it happened to me when I was 17 years old, and I thought I got a girl pregnant. So I felt like, all right, here's my chance. I have to grow up. I have to, I have these responsibilities and stuff like that.
Then you found out that it had to actually be it before, and you were fine. You just kissed her.
No,
Every retard thinks a kiss makes a girl pregnant.
And that they have to get married.
But I felt like, this overwhelming, feeling that I had to just, I had to grow up. This is it, If I'm going to have to marry this girl, I'm going to have to, be with this girl.
So from 17 on, you're a man.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, though, it's definitely early 20s for most people. Yeah. Unless you have, an event like that in your life.
And even when you do, believe me. Because you could give it the, hey, it's tough news for you. Anyway, Skullstone. Right?
Sure.
Mikey, what do you think on this one?
For me personally,
when did you feel grown up?
When I was 14.
Really?
Yeah, because I was on tour by myself, doing Gypsy with Angela Lansbury. And
let me say this. A man doesn't wear a dance belt. What the hell was that?
Oh, it was Mikey D. He dropped another name.
I see.
I felt I was all grown up at that point because my parents actually said, go, And
they had signed that Nudity release.
No, here's the funny part. They were supposed to be with me, and they were getting paid like a per diem to be with me, and most of the time they were not there with me.
Sure, they were high on coke.
Sure. Somebody had to go somewhere.
Now, do you think kids kind of mature later now?
Yes, yeah. I definitely believe that. I would think 18 when you get the right to vote. I think that's, for me...
Believe me, you got the right to go to jail. You're being kind of treated like a man by society. Try breaking the law and see if you're treated like a kid. Although it's very weird that is on one hand and then the drinking on the other. That always is confusing to me. If a guy is a man, if he murders somebody, why can't he have a beer?
Yeah, and they keep that as far away as possible.
And one of the main reasons is kids are so immature that when they did let them drink, there for a while, like in the late 70s, people went crazy.
But you're right. If you ever see any sort of 14 or 15-year-old in the news for some heinous crime, the first thing they will bring up is, can that kid be tried as an adult?
Right.
Malvo. Just recently with the sniper case.
Right.
Can that person be tried as an adult? It's like it's the first thing they look at.
And it's the first time that they ever want to say, all right, this person's an adult. There's no other case where they'll go, I think this 14-year-old is an adult.
And should be making these decisions.
The kid's working after school. He's, keeping his room nice. I think he's an adult now. Now, let me check with Hawk. Hawk, I have the feeling you were a late bloomer, but I'm just guessing.
No, I was pretty much on time. I think everyone is pretty much 18, because that's when you can vote. That's when you can go get drafted. You go into the military. That's pretty much when high school's ending for most people. So that's...
Is that when you felt grown up at 18?
Yeah, 18. As soon as I was done with high school, I hit 18. Boom, high school was done, and then you start making choices. Should I go to college? Should I take a job? What am I going to do with my life? I think that's when you have the major decisions. pretty much when you're 18 for most people.
You're actually playing the game of life.
I think you get a little wiggle room there at 18, though, don't you, Fez?
I think so. I know I took a year before I decided to do anything. I sat around a year after high school.
And at 19, did you feel like a man?
No, not really. Even though I was 19, I could drink at that point. That was the law where I was at. And I was working a full-time job and stuff. But I was still really dependent on my family for a lot of things.
Right.
So even though I was out in the world and it was time for me to make a decision whether to go to school or really focus on this car washing career, I just still didn't feel grown up at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that you really are grown up at that point. I mean, if you're away at college, how's that really grown up?
No, I don't think anyone in college is grown up unless maybe they're, bussing tables and washing dishes, putting themselves through college.
So your main thing is thinking you have to support yourself before you can say I'm an adult.
Yeah, that's probably the main gist of mine. Because I don't consider someone really grown up till probably, I would say about 25 years old.
That late?
Yeah.
One of the weird things is, it's not like you can get really good jobs at that age. No one is going to give you any kind of real responsibility until you're about 25. And even then, they make you wait a little while. And even like with ball players, sure, you might be a millionaire at the age. But if you don't have those guys watching over your money, you're going to act like an ass.
Anything under 25 to me at this point in my life seems like a dumb kid. Like you're still going to see those people 21, 22, still make stupid high school mistakes in their lives.
Yeah, but you know what? I think, and maybe I'm wrong about this, I always think that I have a tendency to treat those people like men right from the get. And I demand more out of them, like when they work for us and stuff.
Right.
I don't want to act like, he's too stupid. Let him, you're here. You might as well throw yourself into it now.
I mean, we had a producer that actually screamed aloud, "I'm just a boy."
Right.
At one point.
And then last night he got in trouble for yelling on Carson Daly show. Wonderboy, do you think that we treat you like a man or we treat you like a kid?
I think that you guys, I would say you guys treat us like a man when you give us responsibilities, and then I think a little bit when we mess up, it seems similar to kind of like when you were in trouble as a kid.
Yeah.
So I would say that you give us the opportunity to be men, and then when we don't come through on it, I think there's a similar, like a child rearing kind of thing.
You think a lot of the pen throwing has to do with that?
No.
Is that?
You want a pen?
No.
Would you say that's being treated like a man or a child?
No, that's more like a man. My parents would never have thrown a pen at me. I think that, that's more like an adult would have to handle that.
I know when Harry Elvis did the step exercises in here, because I got upset at him for screwing up yet another food order. One of his problems, he got so upset, is he said that when I was letting him have it, it reminded him so much of his dad yelling at him.
I don't know if that's just me personally, but yeah, there's a lot of, like, if we mess up, really that disappointed kind of feeling that you have when you let your parents down, a lot of that is still here. And see, I know you're going to do it, but yeah, there's a lot of that
You're
stuff.
going to do it.
There's a lot of that, and I don't know if that's, I think that's another symptom I know of me of not being an adult, where I know other adults, they mess up, and they keep it in check, or a thing where they don't feel like they let their parents down or families down.
I mean, nobody wants to F up at work.
Right. I think other people take it in stride better.
I know, but you know what? That is like a perception. Because everybody that you ever know has to answer to somebody. I don't care if they're the general manager of this radio station. They got to answer to somebody else. Right. And they have time where people have to answer to them, and then they have to turn around and be responsible. And that's the thing of, like, really being a man. That little kids think, my dad is the boss, so he's No, I don't care who you are. If you're running this entire company, you have to answer to a board or shareholders. Everybody's got to answer to somebody. Right. Yet, for some reason, these guys never see it that way. They always think, look at you, you got it made.
Yeah. If you're the person giving out the orders to me, then I guess I want your life.
866-277-4969. Here's Rob. Rob, you're on my Fez.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, I'm a little upset with Fezzi talking about 22-year-olds like they don't know nothing. There are some of us out here who know how to manage our lives, unlike people on your staff, i.e. Billy Staples, who is how old?
45.
Exactly.
Maybe I should up it.
That guy is how old, and he can't manage his life, and you're going to actually tell me he's never effed up at work? Come on now.
Well, what are you basing your 25 on, Fuzzy?
I think with the 25, like we mentioned before, the self-supporting thing. And yeah, there's obviously people that at 18, 17 years old are out there taking care of themselves. But I also think there's a maturity level where maybe by 25 you should have everything out of your system.
I agree, but I think you also have to admit, you have to look at these adults who haven't been able to get to that point at 25 and say they're not going to get there.
Sure, it's all individual, too.
All right, let's bring Billy in. He has the right to defend himself. Billy, when do you think you'll turn it around and become a man?
No, I became a man May 7th, 1987, when I was 29 years old. That's the day I became a man.
What happened that day?
I hate when people make you guess.
Yeah, and we're supposed to stand here and go, and that was the day in history.
Well, no, that was the day when my first wife threw me out. And after all my life of living at home with my mom and then living with my wife, it was the first time I was truly on my own and had to, didn't have anybody else with me. And I was like, okay, now you've got to, take care of things yourself.
So leading up to that, you've moved out, you've got a job, you've got a wife, you've got a baby daughter at that point.
Correct.
But none of that made you feel like a man or grown up until you got thrown out and lost it?
Yeah, it seemed like everything up to that point was a party. It just seemed like it was just, everything was moving too smoothly. Everything was taken care of. I had a job, which was no big deal. I had a job. I've worked since I was 15 or 16 years old, so that was nothing new to me. I mean, I had already even been arrested.
Here's what Fez's point is. Your idea of manhood is when you no longer live with your daughter.
No, my idea of manhood was when I was finally on my own. After we got married. Remember,
you didn't consider yourself out on your own where you're raising your own family? You have a wife and baby?
I relied very much, I would have to say, on other people in my life. In other words, I never lived on my own. I married my wife we met in the 9th grade.
But you really didn't feel like a man until your landlord effed your wife.
I wouldn't go.
That's the day the landlord felt like a man.
Well, I wouldn't put it in those exact terms. I felt like, for the first time.
All right, Rob?
Yeah.
Would you say Billy's a man now?
No, I wouldn't, because I don't think he still hasn't learned how to own up to his own mistakes and take responsibility for the things in his life.
Boy, we agree there, Rob.
I've been listening to you guys for quite a while. I was listening to you on overnights before you came live to DC. And I've listened to how many of Billy Staples' public apologies, If you keep saying you're sorry, you're never going to be your own man. And it's just not going to happen.
The first one was May 7th, 1989.
Takes an adult to apologize to admit when he's wrong.
Children apologize too.
It takes an adult to learn from those mistakes that you're apologizing for and not repeat them over and over and over.
All right, thank you very much, Rob.
All right, see you.
All right, here is our buddy Jonathan. Jonathan, you're on the air.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, what's going on, kids?
Hey, pal.
Fezzy, I guess the other people kind of made the point for me is some people, though they may be 24, have already been through,
you're absolutely right.
A month and a half's worth of stuff. I mean, I've done everything from being a marketing manager in a home improvement company to a year in prison. So, I mean, there's some people who have done quite a bit of living at a young age.
I think if you get raped in prison, then you're a man.
Yeah, that counts. That moves you up a couple of years.
Yeah, good point, Fuzzy. You do have to, and you really should treat these guys like they're men until they, pull
All right, kids, I'm working. I got to run out on you.
See you, pal.
See you, Jonathan.
Until they pull a Wonder Boy and then they say, I'm more of a child. I mean, if you say that you're a kid, right, instead of a man, I'm going to believe you.
I mean, how would you like to be treated here, Wonder Boy?
I would like to be treated as an adult, and I feel like if I'm handling the responsibilities that you guys give me, and I'm an adult in this situation, I don't know that an adult isn't necessarily across the board. Like, maybe in your professional life you can handle your responsibilities, you can do that kind of stuff, but maybe you go home, you still haven't worked things, you still have issues with your parents, your family, and there you end up feeling like you're not fully like an adult.
It's hard to get the total package together, that's for sure.
So I think that it's a thing where you could be an adult in certain situations, and if you guys give me responsibilities that I handle, I think that being treated like an adult here is valid, even if I don't necessarily feel completely grown up about myself. So I think that being treated like an adult here could still be justified if you guys think I'm handling my responsibilities and stuff.
But if you don't handle your responsibilities, we should treat you like a child?
I don't know if you should, but it's warranted, though. It's the thing where, if you're not handling your stuff...
You think your girlfriend's treating you like a kid?
I don't know that it's an adult or child thing, or as much as it might be respectful or disrespectful. I don't know.
Maybe you're a submissive.
I'm really not. I mean,
you're a sub.
This is like the only situation in my life I've ever been.
Are you dating anybody else?
No.
Why not?
To tell you the truth, I really can't get interested in anybody else. I have a couple of people that call me or talk to me,
right?
And I can't. I assume everyone doesn't like me, and I think that I'm starting to think maybe that's just a thing where I'm just not.
What happens when you assume?
I make an ass out of everybody, really.
No, in this case, you're absolutely right.
I think I don't know. I can't seem to get interested in anybody else, so maybe that's why I feel like they're not interested in me.
Now, does she know that you're not dating anybody? Because I asked you in front of her, and you're like, "Yeah, I am."
Well,
but she knows you're not.
I go out with other people. It's not like a thing where I just sit home. I mean, I do, but it's just not anything where I'm really interested in it, though, that kind of thing. I mean, I go out and I see other people and I hang out with other people, but it's just nothing.
It's a lie.
How many times have you tried to move on from this girl only to move back in?
Countless. Before you guys even knew about it, it would be a thing where I go, this is just a ridiculous situation. And then a couple of days later, she calls me. I'm like, I miss her. It's innumerable the number of times I've tried to move on, and I just can't. And I've also never been through anything like that in my life where I couldn't decide I was done with
So you think you're in love?
Well, I mean, I think so. Or I'm just really, really a dummy.
How do you see this ending? Do you see a happy ending?
No, I think that...
you see her giving a happy ending?
I don't want to.
Yeah, she does. Hey, Jim, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, Jim.
Ron, you think you need to have that one situation where you have your heart completely broken before you become a man?
Absolutely.
I do too.
Absolutely.
I said man, woman, not man.
Yeah, it's a good point. Maybe this is it for you. Maybe this is your heartbreak.
I gotta be honest, when everything actually happened, those 4 months where her and I really weren't talking that much, worst heartbreak I could have ever had.
Right.
I kind of was like, well, maybe this would be the thing that makes me a man. Absolutely, I did. It moved me forward 0 on the man scale. I just sat and was like, I don't understand why it happened, and I never felt like...
Well, you're not through it yet. You are not through it yet.
That's true. But I don't know that the heartbreak is enough on its own. There's got to be another thing where you're also taking more responsibility or whatever and everything else.
You have to crash. That's the problem. It's not just the heartbreak. Once you have your heartbreak, then everything else just comes out around. Everything's pulled out from underneath you and you crash.
Like a colonic.
Yeah, but I really feel like I had that. Just so you know. I mean, everything was absolutely pulled out. Lowest point of my life. I wasn't doing well here at the time. I mean, it was awful.
But you seem to have kind of gotten stuck somewhere in the middle of the process.
I just think that, okay, I may have had the binging and purging part, but there has to be another part where you start to, I guess, accept more things and you start to put more roots down, and I just haven't had that part.
And that's the thing. The rebuilding part is what makes you a man. Once you rebuild and repair your life.
And you know what? Then your nerve endings are dead from what she did to you.
Nice.
Part of me doesn't want to be that guy. And that might be part of it, too. I don't want to be someone that's just, really cut off because
You're keeping your nerve endings raw.
Yeah, and I know that that's really not a good plan, but...
Hey, Joel, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
Buddy.
You know the best movie I can think of about becoming a man? He must be 30 years old. I don't know how old he is. But Swingers, Mike and Swingers, that's when you become a man, when you get over it, not while you're going through it.
Right.
I feel like that guy is detached from his own life, ultimately. I don't want to be
that guy. What are you
guy.
talking? How is he detached?
I mean, if
he gets the hot chick at the end.
I guess. I don't know. I mean...
Yeah, but he moved on.
He did move on. But you know what the odd thing is? I think if it was ever really love, you never completely move on. Always in the back of your mind, you're thinking about it.
No, that's true. And, I actually have started thinking about that where, all right, I'm kind of getting to a point where in my life where I'm going to have to start deciding some things. And if I do decide, I'll just forget it and really stick to it this time. If I would spend the rest of my life trying to replace her or figure out how to... No, and I don't want to do that, though.
No, you don't have a choice. It's happened. Let me tell you something. And you know what? Anyone who's really alive has felt that pain. There's somebody I think about every day. Would I go back to her? No, I'm not heading back to her. But every day, at least one point, and look at Rory nodding his head, and me and Rory aren't similar on a lot of things. Every day you're thinking,
That seems
and that's the acceptance of the process.
That seems like a really hard and a lot of times lonely and awful way to live. I don't.
What choice do you have?
I guess you don't, and I guess that's the growing up part. But it just really sucks.
Fez, can you relate to it?
Yeah, I think I can relate to that.
Every day?
Yeah, just about every day.
Every hour of every day?
No, not every hour of every day.
I mean, I'm still on every minute. I would settle for once a day.
Every second. No, not actually. Rory, every day for you?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, when you were just talking about it, I was just thinking about it. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm not being a jerk. I'm serious. Like,
He's there again.
I'm always like, there's always little things like, you drive by a park that, you were there. It's just, it's always
like,
there.
Oh, look, ice cream. She used to eat ice cream.
Right, exactly. It's always some little thing, but you just have to live past that. You got to just get through it.
And I've never had that before, though. I've never had another girl where once it was over, I couldn't.
Do you think that we're not understanding that? You don't think that we've been out with a lot of pigs or a lot of nice girls that didn't mean anything to us? Yes, it's true. Everything you're saying is real.
Yeah, you're right.
But you know you're not going to get this girl, right?
Yes, sure.
Do you see it in the future? That was my question with the happy ending.
And that's what I'm saying. No, I think I'm starting to realize that I'm going to have to come up with a plan to do something else.
It doesn't matter what you come up with, what you do. You're not going to get her.
No, I mean a plan to move on past it.
See, I think you're looking for a plan to avoid this pain.
Yeah.
And there's no way around that. You got to lean into it. Here comes the pain.
I don't deal well with my emotions at all. I really try to completely have nothing to do with them, which I know is another big part of my problem.
And you also have to just completely chop it off. You can't just be like, well, I'll call her to see how she's doing. So you got to completely have no communication with her. You can't see her. You can't talk to her.
Well, you think you could be friends?
No, absolutely not. No, I know.
No. You know why? Because it's like an addict hanging around the heroin.
I know.
And the addict could act like, oh yeah, I could be around heroin. Guess what? You're going to put that thing in a needle and you're going to shoot it. You know how it's going to feel? Great.
At the time.
These girls are drugs. They are drugs. They're like sirens. They're bringing you're out, and you know what? You hear them, and she's so beautiful, and she sings so nice, and you start going, yeah, and you're heading right for the rocks, Wonder Boy.
You're gonna crash.
You know what I say? I say you're not done with her yet. Go back and try to win her.
You just said it's never gonna work out.
No, it's not gonna work out, but you don't know it yet.
Yeah.
See, you don't realize that. So maybe a way you can live with yourself on the rocks is if you can say, you know what, I did everything possible
I've already
to get
done
this
all
girl.
That's the other thing, too. The only thing I haven't tried is just enough time for her to finally go, okay. I mean, everything else I've tried going away. I've tried being there.
All right, you know what? You got us off topic. We got to take a break. You know what I want to do? I'm going to get you Love on the Rocks by Neil Diamond. I'm going to play that for you. When we come back, we'll pick this up so people want to talk to you, all right?
All right. And we'll also have the Friday Fezzatorial.
God, no, that's so inappropriate. Why?
Because it's time for the Friday Fezzatorial.
You see that we're in something with our young friend?
Yes, I understand that. Maybe this will help him.
What is it about?
Ronnie, this is a treat for everyone tonight. This is the original Fezzatorial, the Mother's Day Fezzatorial, the first one ever done years ago.
God, no.
Yes, it's that time of year.
Like a fruitcake, you keep showing up in my life.
People, you're in for a treat.
I'm begging you not to.
It's up next, the original, the very first ever Fezzatorial, an ode to Mother.
I'm going to tell all these people, hold on, please try to make it through this Fezzatorial. We come back, we're going to help Wonder Boy a little bit. He's trying to enter manhood. I'm going to get him in the sweat lodge, I think, later on after the show. 866-277-4969. Pay attention to the bumper music. That's more Mikey D crap. It's a Ron and Fez show.